Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Alright, well, we got a lot of stuff to do today, so let's go ahead and jump into it, shall we? Hey, you know what? It's Friday. Why don't I get something really quick? Here we go. Back to my old antics here. Budweiser Select 55 calorie beer. These are good because you can just drink them all night and you won't really be hungover. You'll be like pretty hydrated, honestly. Only like 2.4% alcohol. It's not even really beer. It's not that great. If you drink like a case of those and then go to a Voodoo Ranger, the Voodoo Ranger tastes like you're drinking butter. It's like so much better. A lot more calories though. One can of Voodoo Ranger is like the calories of 5 of these. So, yeah, alright, what's on the docket today? I think I'm due to practice some Bach, but I also kind of want to practice Recuerdos too. I know that that's usually a night session thing, or a Morel session thing nowadays, but I think I'm going to throw it in before the Bach as like a warm-up. You know, that's what I want to do. I also started working on BWV 996 a little bit. I think I did that off camera. I don't know, I kind of just want to like read through it. I don't want to actually learn it that well, like memorize it or anything. I just want to have something new that's Bach to work on. I feel like that's kind of something that I've been missing in my life. Yeah, other than that, I've been feeling pretty good. I know the last log was like pretty depressed. Sorry about that, but yeah, I was like going through a thing that day. It's Friday now, the weekend's here. I'm feeling pretty good. I guess we can take this time to perhaps answer some comment questions if there are any. Let's see what you guys have to say. Yeah, okay, this one's kind of relevant. I forget which video it's from, but it's from maybe like a week ago or so. I only have screenshots of it, sorry. But this one is from Kevin Mailitz. What's up, man? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. You said, so, have you ever dealt with what I like to call practice ADD? No, I think I just dealt with like regular ADD, according to some of you. I'll find a piece that I really like and start working on it. Then before I master it, heck, even before I barely get a grasp on it, I will hear another piece and just like a kid with a short memory span, I go, ooh, shiny. And I will find music online or a book and start practicing it. Now, instead of having one piece that I can blaze through with no mistakes, I have a few dozen that I can start and are filled with mistakes. I just need to stop listening to Baroque guitar and getting ideas of grandeur. Maybe. Stop listening to music. You know, I don't really know if that's a solution. You know, honestly, I've been pretty steadfast in, like, the pieces that I'm working on. What I recommend, and it's also coming from me, which I'm not exactly, like, the best example of this sort of thing, because I'm very much practicing for auditions. Like, that's kind of what I had in my mind when I started this YouTube channel. Like, I need to get serious audition music, like, up to snuff. So I'm pretty highly motivated to work on, like, these hard pieces that I've been working on. What I would do for any guitarist or any musician, and this is also dependent on like what level you're at too, you should have a Bach that you're working on. It can be an entire suite or a partita or whatever, or it can just be one piece from one, you know, if you're not as advanced in your studies. And then maybe one big like modern piece. Like it could be a sonata, it could be like Capriccio Arbe or something like that. Just something that's like large. Or if you are working on an entire Bach sonata, maybe like 3 large, more modern pieces like Capriccio Arbe, Recuerdos, something, just like 3 pieces. And you should maybe hold those for like 2 years. Because really, as a classical musician, it kind of seems like you are as good as you play the music that you're working on. So it does kind of suck to kind of throw all your music away and like start from scratch again. And that's sort of what I did when I started this YouTube channel, was just starting from scratch with like basically everything I was playing. BWV 1001, Morel Sonatina. Sore Mozart variations, I wasn't really, but I wasn't that good at it. I was kind of going back into it after I'd played it for a while before. If you can pick just some like core music to work on, I think that's really good. Then like how often should you practice them? If you can practice everything at least twice a week, that's like pretty decent. And then with your other remaining time, you can start working on other stuff. As you build up the other stuff too, if you find stuff that really resonates with you that you stick with, you can then start thinking about like switching out what your core music is. No, I think there's different levels of practice. There's the kind of practice that you get when you're learning new stuff, and that's sort of like your plasticity, like memory, like learning new stuff practice. And then there's the practice that you get from like learning a piece for over a year, that like really nitty-gritty refined practice that like I'm working on a lot of that right now, less like learning new stuff practice. And I think you'll probably go through phases of your life where you do both. Like right now you might be in a phase of your life where you're doing a lot of that like new, like learning a whole bunch of new music and not learning it it that well, just being exposed to it, you know? That's not a bad thing either. I do recommend picking pieces that will be part of your core repertoire, because how good you get at those pieces kind of is like how good you are at the guitar in general. You know, you are only as good as your fugue. It's messed up, but it's kind of true. So, you know, something to consider there. I have my core music, like I already mentioned what it is, and I'm trying to add new music now, but I definitely do feel that like ADD feeling where I kind of just want to work on the core stuff, and then like I can get kind of lazy in my practice too, because it's like, well, I already have like all the core stuff basically memorized. Do I even need to practice? I could probably practice like half as much and just maintain it for auditions, and I'd probably be fine. You know, it's better to always like keep learning. So I'm trying to force myself to do that. I imagine after auditions, I think that would probably be a pretty good time to put most of the music I've been working on away for a while and maybe work on some new stuff. It would probably be kind of good to put away the Morel Sonatina and put away most of the suite. I might always keep the Adagio and Fugue like under my fingers, or Sonata, sorry, I misspoke. Siciliana and Presto, the music is not as good as the Adagio and Fugue. It's definitely all about those two pieces. And for maintenance pieces like that, I might only play through that like once a week or so and just like read through it once a week. And I think that's a pretty good amount. When you're more sparse with your practice too, especially on the core music that you know really well, I find that it makes it easier to discover new ways of playing it and new like interpretations. With the Morel Sonatina, for example, like having not played that for like a week and then playing it again yesterday or whatever, it's almost like a fresh look at it again. So that's also not a bad thing too, taking time away from your core music. So in short, yes and no, I suppose. I have to say, this past year, I've been a pretty good boy in terms of my practice. I think God will be very happy with me when I'm dead. He'll probably let me into heaven just for this year alone. But, you know, we got to keep practicing because you never know. What if it's not enough? I might have one more question I can answer. Hold on. Okay, this kind of relates to it. This one is from 85481. Hello. How's it going? You're a human, I presume, and not a bot. I don't think you're a bot based on this. Practice without hope is what my first guitar teacher told me. Wow, he sounds more depressed than me. Jeez. I've learned that being good at things isn't an option for me. But what am I going to do? Waste my time doing basically nothing? Yes. Why not just do that? That sounds way better. I'm just kidding. I know. It's not an option for you. Well, ain't that just the saddest thing I've heard all day? Here I am feeling bad for you. Is it an option for me either? Oh God. I don't know. I mean, you're never gonna be like the best probably, but I mean, you can like get pretty good regardless. I think everybody can get like pretty good at guitar, right? Hey, sign up for lessons. Realizing that helped me understand what he meant. Practice to practice, not because of the end goal, getting into heaven. You should practice to get into heaven, but also you should want to practice regardless. Like you should want to be a good person regardless, but you know, heaven's a good benefit there. Get that tiny bit better that no one in the world cares about. I care. Hey, I care if you get a tiny bit better. Without any hope of being anything special, because that tiniest bit of improvement is what everyone can achieve. Jeez, man. This is, I need to read this to like an emo Midwest backing track. Practice to practice, not because of the end goal. Get that tiny bit better that no one in the world cares about, without hope for being anything special. Because the tiniest bit of improvement is what everyone can achieve. I don't know. Some might find it depressing, but it works for me. Need those vibes for that. All right. That was good stuff. I appreciate that comment. Very depressing. Yeah, what is the point of all this? I do have some point to this, which is kind of nice, and that's grad auditions, but, you know, what do you do after that? That's why we call, like, the high school jocks losers. The football jocks, like, any of those other people. Debate club, though they aren't jocks usually. Whenever you buy into a system, guys, hear me out, and you become a part of that system, and you're not the one in charge of it, you run the risk of that system failing you, and, you no longer being a part of that system and you being rejected from that system. And that's why I was insanely depressed after college, really, because you were in music school and you were a part of this music community, and there's this time limit on it. You only get so much time in the music community. After that, you're graduated, you're alumni, you're no longer that generation of music student that is like being looked at. I don't know, it's hard to explain. You just kind of become a loser after that, and you just have nothing because everything that you had before was all based on this system with a time limit. I hope I'm making sense. I think extracurriculars in school is good, but man, if your happiness is based on like extracurricular sports, like in school, any sort of club, orchestra, stuff like that, that stuff's gonna end, and if that's where your happiness came from, you're gonna have nothing basically. And that's why I was miserable and depressed. Like after graduating, basically up until I started this YouTube channel, I really did feel like the community was just like nothing. Like I had my students and like I was teaching, I was doing all right for myself, but there was like no community, and there was no no real purpose to anything. Which, like, there still isn't, don't get me wrong. But I honestly kind of forgot about grad school, like, after a while. But I was reminded of it again after, like, first talking to so many guitarists online that I found through Sore Hands. Then also going to that guitar festival, like, just hearing about other people, like, in school. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to school, aren't I? It just sort of reminded me about, like, the process. And, like, the process seemed harder in my head. And then when I was just, like, talking to people, it's like, oh, it's really not hard at all. You just kind of apply and it's fine. I forget why I started talking about that. So I don't know, if you're finding your practice meaningless, maybe, like, make something around it too. Like, it doesn't have to be meaningless. I think it's a wonderful thing to practice anything. Sometimes the issue is you're hidden in your practicing and nobody even knows that you're doing it. But if people knew, they would probably encourage you and, like, think that it's cool that you're practicing something. So I don't know, maybe that'll come out in the form of that YouTube comment that you left on my channel. Maybe something else will come of it. Who knows? I don't know. All I can tell you is what I'm doing here, which this is my way of making my practice less meaningless. I have no idea what I'm talking about now. I think it's probably time that I start working on Recuerdos and Bach. So, I feel weird ending it there. Hopefully that answered something. I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of here practicing. Practice for practice. And practice for practice. Practice, practice. 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 Back to the old greasy grind. Alright, I'm gonna start with Recuerdo so you guys know the deal. Because I want to. I'm kind of getting into it, you know? I'll see you on the other side. Alright, you know what? I think I'm ready to call it a wrap. So, here's what I'm gonna do. Let me bring you closer. I found myself doing a lot of technique with Recuerdos. I'm not gonna play that. I'm gonna play the Adagio, and I'm just gonna try to be really dramatic about it. So, we'll see where that's at. Check this out. Yeah, so how did that feel? It didn't feel as good as I wanted it to, frankly. I feel like I could play it again, and it maybe would, but it's like, whatever, Oh god, I think I'm ready to wrap it up. It's Friday night for me. I'm gonna do some stuff. Nightlife, all that stuff. No, I probably won't be doing that, but, I'm gonna unwind. Might go on a walk or something. So, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. I'll see you in the outro. Hey, well, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. Hey, want some shirts? Go buy a shirt if you want. New shirts coming soon. Keep an eye out for that. I'm just waiting in the mail for the new designs right now. So, those will be up soon. They're pretty dope. Oh, guitar lessons, of course. If you want some guitar lessons for classical guitar, I offer those. I'm a guitar teacher. That's my day job. Emails in the description, all that stuff. Hey, comment questions? Leave a question, I'll answer it. Boom, what more do you want? Get out of here. I'll see you tomorrow.